Hi, I'm Stuart and welcome to Sirenet Television. Folks at SoundOff are an innovative bunch, as you can see here by taking a look at this ghost light, which happens to be mounted on the exterior of one of our demo vans. The ghost light, of course, can be mounted in a variety of different applications, and you can check those out on the website. They come out with a new product, that's the folks at SoundOff, and that happens to be the Intersector mirror beam LED light head, which is designed to be mounted on the exterior area of your rear view mirror. And we're going to take a look at it right now. It's a first here on Sirenet, and we're very honored that they've allowed us to do that. So you're going to see a world first. Let's go check it out. Well, here we have a quick change of vehicles. And here you have essentially a standard rear-facing outside mirror. In this case, it happens to be on a Nissan, but again, different vehicles, depending whether you want to have a Yukon or a Tahoe or a Charger or a Crown Vic, you get to pick, or maybe a pickup truck from Toyota. This is the light head. This is it. This is a world first here on Sirenet, and we're going to turn it on right now. Now again, let me explain a little bit about this. As you can see here, we get the camera to swing around in a second, but as you can see, this particular light is designed to mount externally under the rear view mirror. And when we go into the studio in a second, I'll show you some additional options available with this particular light as far as how it can mount. But 30 different flash patterns. It will be available in different colors. Right now, this one happens to obviously be in white. It is a Gen 3 LED light head inside this particular housing. And of course, it also has the following options. You can have either a 9-head LED, or you can have a 6-head LED. So you get to decide what option you want and basically how much money you want to spend. As far as bracketry goes, and again we'll talk about that in the studio, there are different brackets for different types of vehicles because obviously not every mirror is going to be the same. So let's take a look at it with the camera outside. Now the light head itself has an angle of 180 degrees, and when you're putting it onto the vehicle housing, you will get to set that up again relating to the bracketry that will be supplied with the particular housing. And as you can see, a nice wide angle is available on this particular light head. Well, here we are inside the studio. I'm going to take a quick look at this new light head from the folks at SoundOff. And what they have supplied me is basically a line sheet like the one I'm holding up here. I will endeavor to describe what I see here to you right now. But essentially, here is the light head itself. And what we have here is an aluminum housing on the back, which of course is obviously where the heatsink is. And then in the front area here, we have a 180-degree curved light array, which of course has got the Generation 3 LEDs in it. And as I said earlier, you have the ability to have either a 9 configuration or a 6 configuration. And again, they will come out with that in time. So right now, what we have is the 9 array, is what I'm currently holding in my hand. The light head itself comes with cable coming out of the back of it that then goes to this particular plug. This plug will be currently supplied with the product, and that in turn ties into a flasher. The other jumble of wires we have here on the end relate to us being able to plug it in and turn it on. But essentially what I'm holding in my hand here is more or less what you would get in the box when the item arrives for you. Now, let's talk about what's on this documentation here. There are essentially going to be 3 or 4 different type of bracketry that will come with this light that will tie into the type of vehicle that you're going to mount this light onto. So by turning over to page 3, the old listening children, over here on page 3, you can see here there's a variety, we get camera 2 to zoom in, but there's a variety of different brackets that relate to the different types of vehicles. So again, depending on whether you have a utility vehicle, whether you have a Tahoe, whether you have an Impala Charger, or these two light heads down here, sorry, not light heads, these two brackets down here relate to the current charger, and you have a driver's side and a passenger side bracket for those particular vehicles. Why the brackets? Essentially, obviously, not all outside mirrors are the same, so you have to be able to angle the light head itself onto the outside mirror. And again, these particular light heads will give you different degrees of angle. One will, for example, give you a 10-degree angle configuration, and the other will give you a 5, or in this case, the utility one, which is basically 0. But the object being that once you put it in place, it's totally flat, so they don't need to angle it. So again, this is the brand new light available from the gang over at SoundOff. So I'm going to turn it on here inside the studio. You already saw it outside, so let's turn it on and see how bright I can blind the camera crew. I'll point it right at the camera. There we go. So there you have it. I'm going to move it slightly off axis here, but you can see as I'm turning this here, you've got the 180-degree angle. And again, there's 30 different flash patterns. The technical specs will be available on the site as they come available. This is literally straight out of their laboratory at SoundOff. And I'm going to point it down a little bit there, kind of deliberately lower it down, and you can still see it fairly good. And then I'll point it right up at the camera, and I'll point it up even higher. Now, whether or not there's going to be different applications vis-a-vis where you can mount this on the vehicle really is still in its early stages. I can see, for example, a light like this possibly being used in the grille. It could also be used on the lower area of the rear tailgate, on like an SUV, for example. You might even want to put a couple of these on the rear tow hitch, that kind of thing. Also, another area, possibly on the slow plows, as the winter, you wouldn't believe it, it's raining outside in the summer here in Oregon, but in the wintertime, you could potentially use this on a plow configuration as well. Well, I'm Stuart, and again, thank you for watching SciNet Television, a brand new product from the folks over at SoundOff, the new intersection mirror beam light. It is LED. It is going to be available quite soon. You can check out, of course, all the technical specs and pricing online. And again, thank you very much for watching SciNet Television.